We have six people now, Deepa. Yeah,
Or if
we
you're
can
okay with
proceed.
the noise coming from my end, then let the
Yeah,
mic be on. You can
Yeah,
just
it's
hear,
fine. It's not disturbing.
yeah, just you can hear my cats. Otherwise, everything is quiet here.
yeah.
Anyone would like to start?
Yes, I may.
Yeah. Today is the final chapter, by the way, of this happiness project. This is basically a book on resolution and how the writer here, Gretchen Rubin, fulfills her resolutions. And she believes that one wanting to be happy doesn't mean that that person was unhappy to begin with, or had some shortcomings or certain things she was unfulfilled. She believes that everyone has scope to be more happier than what we are, and she describes this happiness from various angles, various perspectives. And then she comes up with some commandment sort of thing, 12 commandments sort of thing, which she calls it also her plan to improve herself so that she can be more happier. It starts from basic cleanliness of our body, mind, physical fitness, building a better profession, building better relationship, and various other connected ideas. And she talks from her personal experience. So she's not like advising, but she is actually portraying her own life. It's more like a semi autobiography sort of a thing, wherein she is talking about what are the situations which led her to come up with these specific resolutions. And she is like very down to earth. She talks about every bit of her personal experiences, and that is very inspiring. So there are nothing like under the bonds, I can't talk about this or I can't do that. So from every angle she talks, the kind of relationship she has had professionally and personally, from her husband to her in-laws, her children, and what are the shortcomings we have in our relationship. So in many ways, no, we'll connect with what she's telling. So that is what this book is all about. And today being the December one, we are taking it few days before December. So let's see how it goes. So I think Suman, you said you'll start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Please go ahead.
December, boot camp perfect, happiness. Boot camp perfect. For 11 months, I had been piling on the resolutions, and for this last month of December, I wanted to try boot camp perfect. I would follow all of my resolutions all the time. I would aim to see nothing but gold stars glittering on my resolutions chart. This goal of perfection was daunting because following my resolutions took a huge amount of mental discipline and self control. Not to mention, it took a lot of time. So, for the month, I tidied, I cleared, I organized, I turned off the light, I sang in the morning, I laughed out loud, I acknowledged people's feelings, I left things unsaid, I blogged, I asked for help, I pushed myself, I showed up, I went off the path. I wrote in my one sentence journal. I met with my writers' strategy group and my children's literature reading group. I listened to my hypnosis tape. I didn't eat any fake food. I bought needful things. Of course, I also failed to do these things. As hard as I tried during boot camp perfect, I still didn't manage to keep all my resolutions. Resolutions after all these months, I was still astonished at how effectively they worked to make me happy. Whenever I did faithfully keep them, I thought often of the 1764 journal entry of Samuel Johnson, who, as an inveterate resolution maker and resolution breaker, is one of the patron saints of the process. I have now spent 55 years in resolving, having from the earliest time almost that I can remember been forming schemes of a better life. I have done nothing. The need of doing, therefore, is pressing, since the time of doing is short. O God, grant me to resolve all right and to keep my resolutions. Did I have even one single perfect day during December? No, but I kept trying. One helpful consequence of my happiness project was that even when I had a bad day, it was a good bad day. If I was feeling blue, I had run through my mood boosting strategies: go to the gym, get some work done, keep myself from getting too hungry, cross a nagging task off my to do list, connect with other people, spend some time having fun with my family. Sometimes nothing really worked, but the nice thing about trying to ameliorate a bad mood by taking those kinds of constructive steps was that even when a day was bad, it had bright spots, and I could look back on a good bad day with satisfaction. One development had given me a huge shot of encouragement after I had posted an offer to send people my resolutions chart in case they wanted to see a model as they formulated their own resolutions. I had started to get emails from people describing their happiness projects. Several people had even started their own blogs to track them. I was gratified to think that I had convinced some readers to try the method and resolutions that had worked for me. Thank you very much for sharing your resolutions chart. My husband and I are going to create a month of resolutions. I think the exercise will be both fun and a good bonding experience for us after an emotionally rocky few months. We have not sat down to do it yet, which is yet another symptom of how work keeps us from spending quality time together. Just talked about doing it soon, but I have been thinking about simple resolutions like date night, express physical affection, do something new together, listen to her or him, play hooky from work for an afternoon, go for a drive. We always talk better stuck in a car together. We just realized there are a lot of things we take for granted, having been together for so long, and there are so many little things that we are realizing we have neglected over time that would probably make us happier if we paid attention to them now. The introduction to a blog. I have been inspired recently by the Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. I love her idea of studying what makes us happy and then trying to apply it to our own lives. Everyone's happiness project would be unique, but I am sure would have many things in common. She has challenged others to have their own happiness project, and I am taking her up on this challenge. I have enlisted a friend to do this with me. I'll call her Jen, and I am trying to see if my husband will join in as well. We will track our journeys together. Part of my interest in the happiness project is learning how some of the principles of happiness might also be applied to children. I will be exploring this as well. And most important, I know that one of the things that make me the happiest is to share what I learn with others. So it will all be posted here. It should be fun. In the vein of being mindful and showing gratitude to those you appreciate, I have been meaning to share with you the positive effect your blog has had on my life for a while now. You posted a few things on resolutions that inspired me to come up with my own, knowing that I needed to be specific about things that could be accomplished and that being more social would lead to additional happiness. I wrote out the following three general goals against which I could judge success at the end. Take a glass, take a class, second volunteer, third join a group. I promptly signed up for two courses to continue learning for my own edification. I also volunteered with the Boy Scout troop that I had been affiliated with while I was in my teens. These two resolutions took up much of my free time for the first half of the year. Recently, I began working toward the third goal and joined a rowing club. I can tell you with a doubt that these three resolutions have led to all of my best experiences this year. I met some important friends in my economics class, have learned how to motivate and lead through my experiences with the Boy Scouts, and am just starting to expand my social circle by joining the rowing club while getting more exercise. Honestly, when people ask me what I am up to, I tell them about the things I am doing because of those resolutions and really sound interesting. More importantly, I am feeling fulfilled and definitely happier. I am now taking a third course and considering joining a wine club. I also walk 5 times a week and keep myself motivated to maintain the habit using many of the suggestions you have shared. The one that sticks with me the most is the one from your dad about just having to put the shoes on and get to the mailbox. I have learned so much through your research and experience, and just want you to know that your work is worth the effort. The impact on my life has been immediate, and I am certain it will last for many years, if not the rest of my life. Sometimes people say that if the things they do can influence one person, then it was all worth it. Well, you have. When I found your blog, a light came on, and I thought that the members of our group would love this project as we are all indeed searching for happiness. I was right when I introduced the idea. Everyone is so excited to begin. We will meet next Monday and share some of our commandments, and I will then introduce your resolutions charts. As you say in your blog, each project will look different according to the person, but as I continue to read your blog, it has become clear to me that in the end, we are all looking for basically the same thing: happiness. To make your own happiness, to write your own commandments, and check yourself with your own resolutions is simply genius. My group struggles with this search but never had the thought of going and taking happiness for ourselves. We simply try to live better and hope that it comes. Time will tell, but certainly the group is very excited about the prospect and their homework, which has to begin their own commandments. Last weekend, my daughter and a friend met me at my mom's house. My daughter is 28 and my mom is 86. I am somewhere in the middle. My daughter and her friend started talking about the happiness project and some of the precepts they had learned there. My daughter's friend mentioned the idea of really enjoying what you have, such as using the good dishes, not saving the dress for a day that may never come, etc. My mom, who is a very frugal woman, began to talk about some Demetrici cups that had been passed on to her and how they were boxed up in the closet because she didn't have a display case. I suggested we go to the furniture store and find one she could use, and surprisingly, she agreed. We looked at two stores and left with good information about a curio cabinet. On the way out of the second store, Mom noticed a chair that looked very comfortable and had a heating and vibrating feature that felt good. I ended up paying for half of the chair for her Christmas present, and we later ordered the curio as well. We all know that happiness is not in the things. However, at age 86, I was so glad that my mom could have a couple of things that she will really enjoy. Her chair was delivered, and she reports that she may never sit anywhere else. When the curio cabinet is delivered, we will have a great time putting together the display of her family heirlooms. Thanks for the inspiration. It made me very happy to think that my blog had helped contribute to the happiness of people I have I had never even met. Of course, that was the purpose of the blog, but I was thrilled to discover that it was actually working. Your year is almost up, friends kept saying to me. So, are you happier? Absolutely, I answered. But how do you really know? One scientist friend asked, did you do any kind of systematic measurement over the course of the year? Well, no, you didn't have Jamie score you each day or keep a mood chart on yourself or anything like that. No. So maybe you are not any happier. You just think you are. Well, I conceded, maybe it is my imagination. But no, I know I am happier. How? I feel happier. It was really true. My first splendid truth says that if I want to be happier, I need to look at my life and think about feeling good, feeling bad, and feeling right in an atmosphere of growth. I had worked on all these elements and it had made an enormous difference. For me, it turned out the most significant prong was the feeling bad. My biggest happiness boosts had come from eliminating the bad feelings generated by my snapping, nagging, gossiping, being surrounded by clutter, eating fake food, drinking, and all the rest. In particular, it made me happier to be in better control of my sharp tongue. Nowadays, I often managed to pause and change my tone just a second before I started to rant or to change my tone in mid sentence. I had even managed to laugh while chiding Jamie about not dealing with the insurance forms or not looking for his missing library book. At the same time, I was having more feeling good, more laughing with my family, talking about children's literature with my book group, listening to music I liked. I had learned a lot of ways to get more bang for my happiness buck. Feeling right had been very important to my happiness when I was struggling with the question of whether to switch from law to writing, but it had not been the source of many of my resolutions over the past months. At the start of December, however, I was hit by the idea for a goal I wanted to undertake to feel right in the coming year. I wanted to get involved in the issue of organ donation. We all hoped that Jamie would never need a liver transplant, of course, but his hepatitis C had made me much more interested in the issue. If I could figure out some small way myself to help boost the number of organ donations in the country, I would feel as though I had been able to transform an unfortunate personal situation into some larger good. I had already started gathering a list of names and resources that I wanted to check out. I didn't particularly enjoy this work, but I could see that this project would make me feel right. But what had surprised me most about the first splendid truth was the importance of the final prong, the atmosphere of growth. I had not ascribed much weight to it, even when I had identified it as the fourth element of happiness. My happiness project had proved to me, however, that the atmosphere of growth was a huge contributor to happiness. Although my instinct was to shy away from novelty and challenge. In fact, they are a key source of happiness, even for an unadventurous soul like me. In particular, I had seen how the atmosphere of growth provided my blog had become an enormous source of happiness. My successful mastery of that skill had given me feelings of gratification and mastery that in turn had energized me to push myself even harder. There was another question that people kept asking me: what about Jamie? Has he changed? Is he happier? One thing I knew: Jamie would not be very happy if I pestered him to provide a comprehensive analysis of his emotional state. Even so, one night I could not uh, I pestered him to provide a comprehensive analysis of his emotional state. Even so, one night I could not resist asking him, do you think my happiness project has made you happier? Do you think you have changed at all? No, he answered, but he had changed. Without any nagging on my part, he was taking on tasks such as doing holiday shopping or putting our finances on Quicken that he had never done before. He was much better about doing little chores like answering my emails and emptying the diaper pail now than he had been a year ago. Not only did he remember my birthday this month, he wished me happy birthday the minute he woke up that morning. He organized a family party, got me a present, and took photos. He never takes photos. He had absorbed more of my happiness talk than I had realized too. One day, when we were out doing errands, I overheard him say to Eliza, when we get to the container store, you are going to see something very interesting. Mommy is going to buy something for $5 that is going to make her extremely happy. Very little things can make a person happy. It doesn't matter how expensive something is. The item in question, a sponge holder that fastens to the sides of the sink with suction cups. I had coveted one ever since I spotted this device in my brother and sister-in-law's apartment. And Jamie was right. I was made extremely happy by that purchase, but he would never have made an observation like that last year. But of all the happiness boosting things he did, my favorite was the email he sent me after I was angry that he had not made a phone call that he had promised to make. From Rubin James to Gretchen Rubin, subject: Don't be mad. See below.
Can see this emoji.
Very.
Interesting and
So cute.
Anyone else want to read?
yeah. Do we have any other names?
I
I
can read
can't
this.
see. Yeah, please go ahead.
I confess that when I started the happiness project, I feared that if I stopped nagging and complaining, Jamie would leave all the work to me. That didn't happen. Now, correlation is not causation. So maybe my happiness project had nothing to do with the ways in which he changed. But for whatever reason, the atmosphere in our house was happier. That's not a very scientific standard of measurement. Maybe I was seeing what I wanted to see. Maybe, but who cares? If I think I'm happier, I'm happier. That's the fourth splendid truth. The fourth splendid truth may have been the last splendid truth I identified, but in fact, I had understood it on some level from that first moment on the bus when I had the idea for my happiness project. I am not happy unless I think I am happy. And by pushing myself to be mindful of my happiness, I can truly experience it. Although the first splendid truth was extremely valuable in showing me how to change my life to be happier. Just 1 minute. The second splendid truth was more important to my understanding of the nature of happiness. One of the best ways to make myself happy is to make other people happy. One of the best ways to make other people happy is to be happy myself. The second splendid truth made clear to me why working to be happy isn't a selfish goal, and why, as Robert Louis Stevenson said, there is no duty we so much underrate as the duty of being happy. When I was feeling unhappy, I felt dispirited, lethargic, defensive, and uninterested in other people. Even worse, when I felt angry or resentful, I searched for excuses to feel even more angry and resentful. On the other hand, when I felt happy, I was more likely to be light-hearted, generous, creative, kind, encouraging, and helpful. December was a crazy time for my sister Elizabeth. She and her writing partner were writing a pilot for a network TV show, one of the most important work opportunities she had ever had. She and her fiancé Adam had just bought a house, she was planning their wedding, and she was dealing with a recent diagnosis of diabetes. I really wished that I could do something for Elizabeth. Then I thought of something I could do. I called her up. Hey, guess what? What? She said, sounding harried. I have been feeling bad about all the stress you have right now. So I have decided, I pause for effect, to do your holiday shopping for you. Critch, would you really? She said. That would be so great. Elizabeth's stress must have been as bad as I had thought. She didn't even pretend to resist the offer. I'm happy to do it, I told her. And I was. Hearing the relief and happiness in her voice made me very happy. Would I have offered to do her shopping as well as mine if I had been feeling unhappy? No. Would it have even occurred to me to try to help her out? Probably not. The third splendid truth was a different kind of truth. The days are long, but the years are short. Reminded me to stay in the moment, to appreciate the seasons, and to revel in this time of life, December's Yuletide atmosphere, the girls' little matching cherry nightgowns, the elaborate bath time routine. Most nights I spend the time before bed racing around, trying to get organized for the morning, or crashed in bed with a book. But Jamie has a lovely habit. We call it gazingly lovingly. Every few weeks he'll say to me, come on, let's gaze lovingly. And we go look at Eliza and Eleanor as they sleep. The other night, he pulled me away from the computer. No, I've got too much to do, I told him. I need to finish a few things before tomorrow. You go ahead. But he won't listen. So finally, I went with him to stand in Eleanor's doorway. We gazed lovingly at her small figure flung across the huge pile of books that she insisted on keeping in her crib. I said to him, someday we will look back and it will be hard to remember that we ever had such little kids. We'll say, remember when Eleanor still used her purple sippy cup or when Eliza wore ruby slippers all the time. He squeezed my hand. We'll say, that was such a happy time. The days are long, but the years are short. During the year, when people had asked me, so what's the secret to happiness? At different times, I had answered, exercise or sleep or do good, feel good, or strengthen your connections to other people. But by the end of December, I had realized that the most helpful aspect of my happiness project hadn't been these resolutions or the four splendid truths I had identified or the science I had learned or all the high minded books I had read. The single most effective step for me had been to keep my resolutions chart. When I had started, I had viewed my chart as just another fun thing to experiment with, like the gratitude notebook. But it had turned out to be tremendously important. Making the resolutions wasn't the hardest part of the happiness project, though it was harder than I expected in some cases to identify the appropriate resolution. Following through was the hardest part. The desire to change was meaningless if I couldn't find a way to make the change happen. By providing an opportunity for constant review and accountability, the resolution chart kept me plugging away. The phrases lighten up, give proofs of love, and cut people slack flashed through my consciousness constantly, and I often changed my actions in consequence. When I was annoyed, when the woman working next to me at the library kept sighing noisily, I tried to imitate a spiritual master. Saint Therese tells the story of how she once broke into a sweat at the effort to conquer her annoyance when a fellow nun made maddening clicking noises during evening prayers. Even if I didn't do a perfect job with my resolutions, I did do better. And the more I kept my resolutions, the happier I was. I had noticed idly that a lot of people use the term goal instead of resolution. And one day in December, it struck me that this difference was, in fact, significant. You hit a goal, you keep a resolution. Run a marathon makes a good goal. It's specific, it's easy to measure success. And once you have done it, you have done it. Sing in the morning and exercise better, and better cast as resolutions. You won't wake up one day and find that you have achieved it. It's something that you have to resolve to do every day forever. Striving towards a goal provides the atmosphere of growth so important to happiness, but it can be easy to get discouraged if reaching the goal is more difficult than you expected. Also, what happens once you have reached your goal? Say you have run the marathon. What now? Do you stop exercising? Do you set a new goal? With resolutions, the expectations are different. Each day I try to live up to my resolutions. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail, but every day is a clean slate and a fresh opportunity. I never expect to be done with my resolutions, so I don't get discouraged when they stay challenging, which they do. With each passing month, too, I realize the importance of my first commandment be Gretchen. As great minds throughout the ages have pointed out, one of our most pressing concerns should be to discover the laws of our own nature. I had to build my happiness on the foundation of my character. I had to acknowledge what really made me happy, not what I wished made me happy. One of the biggest surprises of the happiness project was just how hard it was to know myself. I had always been slightly exasperated by philosophers' constant emphasis on what seemed to me to be a fairly obvious question. But in the end, I realized that I would spend my whole life grappling with the question of how to be Gretchen. It's funny. Only once it was December, and my happiness project was drawing to a close, did it occur to me to wonder why I had the urge to do my happiness project in the first place. Sure, I had had a bus ride effin- epiphany about wanting to be happier, and it had been a relief and a thrill to step out of my ordinary life to contemplate transcendent matters. But what had motivated me to stick with it for a whole year? Jamie told me what he thought. I think this happiness project is all about you trying to get more control over your life. He said, "Does any should I finish or any?"
You can finish it. Let me see how much is there. Yeah, we are done. You finish it, Shruti. That
Okay.
would be great.
Jamie told me what he thought. I think this happiness project is all about you trying to get more control over your life, he said. Was that true? Perhaps the feeling of control is an essential element of happiness, a better predictor of happiness than, say, income. Having a feeling of autonomy, of being able to choose what happens in your life or how you spend your time is crucial. Identifying and following my resolutions had made me feel far more in control of my time, my body, my actions, my surroundings, and even my thoughts. Getting control of my life was definitely an aspect of my happiness project, and a greater feeling of control gave me a major boost in happiness. But something deeper was going on as well. I had begun to understand that although I hadn't quite recognized it when I started, I was girding myself for some awesome, dreadful challenge or working to meet some judgment day deadline for virtue. My resolution chart is really my conscience. I wonder if one day I'll look back on this year of my happiness project with wonder at my innocence. How easy it was to be happy then. I might think on some dark, distant morning, how glad I will be that I did everything within my power to appreciate the life I have now, just as it is. The year is over, and I really am happier. After all my research, I found out what I knew all along. I could change my life without changing my life. When I made the effort to reach out for them, I found that the ruby slippers had been on my feet all along. The bluebird was singing outside my kitchen window.
You want to read the last para again, Shruti? If you want, you can.
Yeah,
And that would be the final part of this book.
the year is over, and I really am happier. After all my research, I found out what I knew all along. I could change my life without changing my life. When I made the effort to reach out for them, I found that the ruby slippers had been on my feet all along. The bluebird was singing outside my kitchen window.
Yeah, thank you, and I really applaud you reading the final part of this book. And Suman, I enjoyed your reading as well. Thank you for being there through this year of my commitment to be happier with you all people. A wonderful reading. Thank you. I
Thank
applaud
you
this
so
book.
much.
Yeah, so I'll just scroll through to see what else we have. Acknowledgements are there. Just lots of people she has mentioned who have contributed to her project. You are my weather. That's a wonderful way to describe the family, right? Weather is
Yeah.
like all the good and the bad. To call someone your weather, your happiness project. She has certain things to tell here. If you want, we can read this. Manifesto is there.
What is this?
A manifesto of, the things we make a promise to ourselves.
Okay.
She is actually a lawyer by academic education, but she became a blogger, writer, and one of the New York Times bestsellers now. Yeah. Sorry. She is also into podcasting. Oprah Winfrey show also she has been on. She has met Dalai Lama. Wow. Some Nobel laureates also.
This
This
is
is book
all.
was written like 10 years back. It's a 10-year-old.
Okay.
There are many more additions to this book, to the idea in this book. Yeah. Lot is there actually. I
It's a
guess we
great.
can do all these things on our own. I'll try to put
Yeah.
this book back in our group. What's the time like now?
It's 8 o'clock.
Okay, so we can open up for discussion, I guess. Any takeaways, any learnings? A lot is there after the book. The encore seems to be a mini lot. If anyone wants to read it, we can read it or we can read it on our own.
No, now time won't be sufficient na, to read it. It's already 8 o'clock. At least today can't.
Yeah. So let's open up for discussion. A lot is just keeping on coming. So, would anyone like to share? You can talk about even your resolutions, how committed you were to your resolution, or how uncommitted, and how much you could fulfill and or you couldn't fulfill. We can talk about all that. We can talk about what sort of impressions we have from this past year, what and all we have gone through. Also, we can add in something what we have read today. Uh, there are 6 of us today. Mhm.
Yes, my takeaway from today's chapter, in conclusion, is that uh, resolutions are necessary, especially to be happy. Just the mind, basically, the other things are the tools that help us. We may get success with those tools also. We may get fail also. But the main thing is that they are the reminders that we have to be happy. And she also used all these tools to be aware of the main goal, that is she has to be happy. Yeah.
Very well said, Suman. Thank you. Yeah. Anyone else would like to share?
Yeah, for me also, that difference between goal and resolution was beautiful. Like that was a wonderful takeaway. So even I would look at goals and resolutions differently now because of this reading. And yes, I would also want to keep up my resolution. And for me, this book in total has been as an inspiration for creating a project for me myself like this. And yes, some parts I couldn't connect so much with the book at time because it is more of a Western perspective than our Indian perspective. But other parts and her energy and her shift and the small shifts that she went through throughout the book, throughout every month, was super inspiring. And actually, it makes us think that how we should even like taking what one thing I have realized is not with just this book, but even through one of some of my personal projects, that taking up a project or something like a project really helps. So like when you're determined and when you take up something, like if it could be like maybe 100 days of singing or sketching or something, like people take up 100 days projects, people take up, like people decide a time frame and they decide something particularly to do consistently and with more consciousness on the time frame. I think that really helps in general. So yeah, looking forward to even continue with this. Maybe having my own themes going forward for the new year. So yeah, that's my takeaway actually from the book in all. And about this chapter also, yes, definitely. Boosting happiness and resolution, that was it was, I feel this chapter was more of a reflection of her own experience. And if she had really been a little more happier, and I'm sure like when you put in so much of a conscious effort in something, definitely there is some upliftment or some shift that you can experience, and that is evident in even her case which she has shared, and that was inspiring.
Yeah, that she has
Yes,
changed her
very true.
perspective due to, although she might not have got much, but the perspective she changed, that was the outcome, that she was happy.
Very true.
Yeah. And even the small things that she said, na, she would have never noticed them. Or even the even like as they say, na, energy is contagious. So the effect that it had on her husband. So these things are also very touching as such. Because ultimately we want it to spread in our environment, right? Like we want our families to be happier, and we want to be more happier with the people around us. So yes, that these small things that she's mentioned, I'm really intrigued by them, especially how she offered her, I think sister, right, or I don't remember, sister or friend, to shop for her and things, small things like that. And she mentioned that I wouldn't have noticed it otherwise if I had not been happier. That's so true. When we are in a better state of mind, we act and react and respond to things very differently than otherwise.
We really, the empathy improves then. We understand, we listen, we relate to people around us better. Yes. Happiness is very important, and that sense of happiness cannot be measured. You don't need to have a measurement tool. It is for us to realize that. So I just loved all those things. Yeah. Thank you, Mansi. Anyone else would like to add on anything?
Yeah, small thing. What I think what she's saying is that it's not happiness is not like one goal. It's more of the small things that we are doing on a daily basis that slowly adds up. So you do every day there may be small steps that one might take, but if there is something that there is a setback and something does not work out as planned, that's okay. It's always okay to come back and figure out what is happening and then restart the whole thing. So it's not like black and white. It's everything is in baby steps, and it's a journey. It's not just a goal. That's I think that was what she was trying to communicate.
Yeah. Very well put. Very well. It's Vidya, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
So it's 8-8, sort of a manifestation time. Um, if we have
Wow.
anything to, yeah. So if we have
Let's
anything,
manifest to be more happier the
yes,
upcoming year,
yes,
and
yes,
also end this year more happier and strong.
yes, true. And when we look back on 2025, for all of us, it has been amazing. I personally, from my perspective, I was fascinated by this book and the way it was built when Mansi mentioned it. Somewhere in Jan or Feb, she mentioned it. And when she offered me to take up this project and do this reading every month a bit, or chapter a month. I was initially, to be frank, little skeptical. How will it work? 1 year reading just about 300 pages. It seems like, stretching it. But your idea was actually fantastic, Mansi. We needed this. And I didn't know that, it was making an impact. It was like that silent positive influencer for me. I set up many goals and I actually fulfilled it. I have improved professionally, academically, fitness wise. I'm more sorted of organized a person, done many things actually, taken up lot of travel and had an amazing year. Now, when I think back, reflect on whatever happened in 2025, what is happening, what is this? But when I try to do my own self measurement, self accountability, I think it has been amazing. And my relationship has improved. Also, I've set boundaries. I had a problem in saying no. Now when I'm able to say no, the ability to say yes comes to most of us easily. But when you're drawing a boundary, you have to say no to certain things, to certain people, to certain issues. Yeah, I've stood up for that, and I'm able to do that, and my life is a lot better, a lot more organized, a lot more stress free, because I understand what I'm capable of and how far I should go with that. At the same time, certain things we don't have to be adamant and be, very stubborn, not to accept the change and by saying no. So certain things when happens around us, although it might initially seem resentful, but in the long run or even in the short run, even for that moment, it is better. Like the other day when I was traveling on Vande Bharat, I wanted to sit on the aisle seat, but there was a group of guys, they had returned from playing their own IPL, the corporate level IPL, and they wanted to gang up. So they wanted me to sit by the window when I wanted to sit by the aisle. And if they sit in the aisle only, they can all have their own jamming sessions. So initially, I was resentful and I wanted to say no. But then I realized if I sit on the window, I get to watch nature, and I get to sort of, eavesdrop on their all chill talk, about cricket and the men bonding. So I say this very unashamedly that I like to watch what strangers are doing and what they're talking about. So it was very interesting. And as I was okay later with little bit of resentment to be pushed to the window seat, it was okay, I realized. Because at that moment, I realized that I had controlled my diabetes. That was the most fascinating revelation I had about myself. Throughout this year, due to various physical activity and exercise and being mindful with my lifestyle and eating habits, I had controlled my sugar levels, that I didn't have to visit the restroom as frequently as I was doing last year around this time. So I applauded myself that I wanted to sit on the aisle so that I can go to the restroom easily. But then when they pushed me to the corner, and I said, okay, although I was initially resentful, I realized that I had to be okay. So sometimes you have to draw the boundaries and say no. And sometimes when nature says, no, this is okay, you can go ahead with this, we have to accept that. So that realization was the eureka moment sort of me. I felt blessed. At this age, I'm able to still have, good learning, understanding about myself, and I'm still flexible. Whereas many people by this age, they become very rigid. And as Samina, I think she said, I'm always six. I always want to be six. I always want to be six. So that mentality I understood. So thank you,
Tasneem,
thank you. Taslim. Okay, Taslim. Okay, thank you.
Hello.
that was
Yeah.
such a beautiful share, Deepa. That is such a beautiful share. In fact, I'm so grateful. And in fact, honestly, even I had felt this. Like, was it too much of a pressure on you to want? Like, I just realized this, that taking a book in a row, like in a 1 or 2, 3 week span, and getting done with it and stretching it to the whole year and taking it every, like I don't know, that was a different experience altogether. So I really wanted to hear from you if it was even good for you, or it was like a lot of pressure and burden for you. And you did share, like, yeah, thank you. And one thing what I have always noticed is, whenever we read a book or when we take it up, we are more involved. And that is how that book helps us better than anyone else, is in my personal observation, with myself, and even all the other leaders who have been reading it, and I think they will really agree with it. And that was the main intention, that when we actually take up something, we are we feel more responsible towards it. So you pay more attention, you implement more, you are more keen about it, and that makes a lot of difference. So I feel it's more important to lead for ourselves than for others. So it doesn't matter, who shows up and who don't, but we are eventually benefiting out of it, is my experience. And you have had such a beautiful experience and share. Similarly with me, I would want to add that, for me, touchwood, I don't know how, but somehow all the themes of every month somehow resonated and aligned so well with, synchronistically with whatever I wish to do or prioritize that particular month. Somehow they just aligned very, very well. And that really helped me, because this 2 days reading that we did was very, 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 like it was very insightful. It somewhere put us in that awareness, at least to follow through. Although I would say we would have been better at consistently actually implementing or maybe taking some notes or observing on doing things just like how Gretchen has described with her experiences. I think personally I was not that very uh, mindful or that very aware of the whole project as such throughout the month or the rest of the days after we read. But yes, I would want to really do that this month, maybe taking up my own themes or just getting inspired and making my own commandments and things like that. Not just with happiness, but with some other project as well. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that was a wonderful, wonderful share and reading, Deepa. And I think yes, others have left now. So do you want to share something? Suman, do you want to share something more? Or Deepa, you decide how you would want to close with it.
Yeah, only three of us are there. So Suman, you have anything to share? You can share, or
Yeah,
we
Deepa,
can wind up
really.
together.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was really wonderful. I also, though I joined in mid, maybe it was July or August month when I joined, but it was really wonderful. Have
yeah,
learned a lot. I have become more mindful about whatever I am doing after reading this book.
yeah. And Suman, the poetry part you brought in the middle. After you join, you are the one who did the poetry thing, right? We read
Yes,
little bit of Robert
she brought
Frost.
in two, three very nice poems. Yes.
So that was wonderful. So lot of learnings I've had, made new friends. Although we haven't met, but I feel we are
But it is very commendable, Deepa, that
soulmates.
you took
So
it
the
through.
comfort level being that, yeah.
Yeah,
And
very
because
Yeah,
of
true.
you all, yeah.
I
Please go
just
ahead, Mansi.
sorry, sorry. I interrupted. I'm sorry. I was just so in the flow or excited to share this. Like not not any share as such, but I just really want to say kudos and more power and hats off to you, Deepa, because you did it so well. The way you consistently kept up and you actually like very keen on every month. I remember how you used to like keep track of when is the book getting finished and how when can you take up happiness project, and that was really very commendable the way you really put it through and took it so responsibly from start to end. I can see that it's not an easy thing to do. Someone might have just left off in the middle or something, quite possible, but you just like it is beautiful. It is great learning for me from you, and hats off. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for taking it up. I'm sure it has made a lot of difference in people's life. Even if people are like some people, whatever months they joined, I'm sure it has impacted them in some way or the other. So thank you for taking it up
Yeah,
and
yeah. One more
taking so
thing,
much
I guess
time.
it will go into the recording. I wanted to applaud Shruti Agarwal. I hope it goes into the recording, although she has left the room. I
It
want to
is there,
applaud her
yes.
because yesterday it seems she did her first stage performance
Yeah.
after 4 months of sleeping today. But some resolution woke her up at 6:30, and she joined the session and she gave us the final read. Because she's one of the one who came in and pushed me forward to do it. She was committed to this book as a big fan. So I really applaud her. And the amazing dance performance she must have given yesterday, I'm sure about it. In a group she has done, Kathak she has done.
I'm not sure if she will go and check this recording, so I would suggest that do drop her a message
Yes,
personally,
I'll do that. I wanted to
maybe a
tell, but
voice note or
so much,
something, or even
yeah,
in the
so many
Happiness
things
Project group
will.
or something.
Yeah, yeah. So much we were talking about, it just slipped out of my mind. When the
Oh.
sharing started, I wanted to congratulate her first, but it just went on. So now I'm giving her a huge applause and a congratulations on such a huge, beautiful thing which she has done.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shruti, for being there and all these years, all these months. Yeah, as they said, the days are long, years are shorter. Oh, thank you.
That's such a wonderful thing. Na? Even I read it for the very first time, but that
Mm,
is something that will stay. That
yeah.
yes, yeah, that's so beautiful line.
Yeah. We can put in too many things into our day, like it's all up to us, and make the year seem shorter.
Yeah,
Time will just flies, we say, but this is amazing. She's a very good writer,
Yeah,
gives many writers, many quotes, many personal experiences, very unabashed. Wonderful. Thank you. So I think we'll wind up for the day
yeah,
on this good, wonderful note, and prepare
yes,
for another set of resolutions, commandments, and a splendid truths let's create for the next year.
yeah.
Hmm?
I'm not aware
Thank you.
about the next book now. I don't know. Like Anil was supposed to take it. I guess he had
Yeah.
mentioned he would like to lead, but I don't see him these days, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe 1st December was planned because we were going to take it till Thursday, right? So we had planned for
Mm-mm.
1st December, but I don't know. Maybe we'll stick to that. Let me check with him, and
Mm,
let's see how we'll go
mm.
about it. Also, just on a curious, like I'll just close the recording.